In today's journey, we're going to show you how to set up a BrewPi remix. Check the links in the description below to make sure you have everything before getting started. Start by using the first link to download Etcher. It should auto-detect which version you need, but if you need something else, use the drop-down. Using the second link, we go on to download Raspbian. You can use either of the first two download links, though we do recommend using the recommended software. Downloading the light version is not recommended as it does not have a GUI interface. That is to say, you don't use a mouse to click around. With everything downloaded, we can start installing Etcher. This is the tool that is going to make our SD card boot in the Raspberry Pi just the way it likes it. Using this program is pretty straightforward. Start by clicking the left button and selecting the raspbian file we just downloaded. If you only have one USB drive plugged in at this time, it should auto-detect the right one. Do make sure it is the proper one because what we are about to do is going to completely delete all the data on the drive selected, to which there is no returning. Once we have the download and the drive selected, we hit flash and then it'll start doing its thing. And this is where we can see if we have a better or worse SD card, as the better the card, the faster this part will happen. We're getting about 20 megabytes a second during this, which is a respectable number for the technology we are using. We will be fast forwarding some of the more boring parts to make sure we keep this video as short as possible. After flashing, it's going to do what's called the validating to make sure that everything wrote to the SD card properly. If you get an error, just restart the program and try again. If you continue to get errors, try a different micro SD card or SD card reader. You can also try re-downloading the Raspbian file as well. Once the program tells you it is done, it's done. And then we will want to remove this card and place it into our Raspberry Pi, and which we will continue on that screen instead. And don't freak out if nothing turns on right away. It takes a moment for things to boot up. This may be a real small computer, but that also means it's not an overly powerful computer either. But it is going to be powerful enough for what we need, which is installing a Linux-based operating system that we can run the BrewPi remix through. But don't let the words Linux scare you, as the hardest thing we're going to be doing is copying and pasting. Well, unless you've never worked with an Arduino before, but even that is a simple task. Thanks to the walkthrough provided by Lee at BrewPi Remix. It's up to about this point that everything's been pretty straightforward, but going onward, it's going to be more up to your discretion on how you want it to be set up for your needs. Just like any other aspect of brewing. The first thing we like to do is to make sure everything is updated and installed properly. Conveniently, the Raspberry Pi gives you a pop-up right away on first boot, just for such an occasion. Enter all the information as it pertains to yourself, and even if you have yours hooked into a wired network like ours is, we still recommend entering in a wireless password. It just for some reason makes things run a little smoother most of the time. At least for us, although that may just be superstition. Once it finishes this automated process, you'll want to reboot before doing anything else. Conveniently, it will prompt you for that. Once we reboot back into the system, we have a plain run-of-the-mill Raspberry Pi ready for anything. But we don't want run-of-the-mill, we want BrewPi. So click the little globe icon right next to the Raspberry picture. That's how this little guy gets onto the interweb. You can use the link in the description, but Phil's going to have to do a search instead, because he didn't write the link down. This website has a lot of really good information about how to set up a BrewPi and other ways to accomplish different goals, or add on other features. We highly recommend reading through everything, but we're going to show you where to go to get everything set up basic and ready to go. We recommend starting at the BrewPi hardware link, as this is going to go over everything you need to set up the Arduino and all the other components that you need for your system. You can even make multiples and control multiple chambers at once. But this video is already getting long enough to cover how to actually do the wiring. Plus, Lee does a pretty good job of doing a step-by-step guide anyway. And if you don't feel up to the task of wiring the 110 voltage part of this, you can still make the data logger part. It's just not going to control the cooler or the heater. With your hardware ready to go, click the BrewPi Legacy Setup link. Most of the text on this page is giving credit where credit is due, such as to the original creator of BrewPi. Type his name in the comments below for bonus points. But it's Lee who is my hero for this little simple bit of text that we're going to copy and paste into the terminal. That is this little shortcut up here at the top next to the folders that looks like a DOS. Right click anywhere and click paste, hit enter, and it's going to start doing everything for you. At this point, all we need to do is follow the prompts and answer a few basic questions. I said earlier that Lee did a simple text right here that makes him my hero, but it's really the back end that makes everything work great. For the most part, we just follow the defaults ourselves until we get to the multi-chamber, which we type in left, because later on we're going to make a second chamber called right so we can test two different yeasts at once, side by side. That part will not be covered in this video. This part, however, is happening in real time and does tend to take a little bit of time, so don't freak out if nothing happens for a couple minutes. Here's where we're going to enter in the information for setting up our first of our multi-chambers. If you're not going to use a multi-chamber, just hit enter and it will continue on to the next step. But it's at this point we can just sit back and relax as it takes care of most of everything for us. But it will take some time, so we'll fast forward. But once the next prompt comes up, we got all the super nerdy stuff done. This is another point though where we like to deviate from the defaults and reflash the controller every time just in case something went wrong with it. It does give us a few options of firmware. This is where we go back to the defaults. However, if an update comes out, the numbers may be different than the ones we use. This is also a good way to recover if something went horribly wrong with a previous setup you've done before. This is basically one way of doing a factory restart, which works best if you tell it to not recover the lost programming and configured devices. The reprogramming can take some time, so we're going to fast forward. Do not unplug the USB into the Arduino at this point, as it could corrupt the installation. And now, even though you can't see anything, it's done and running. To interact with the BrewPi program, take either of the top two links and copy their URLs and put them into the internet browser. If nothing shows up right away, it's because it's still setting up in the background and just refresh in a minute or two. The last thing we need to do today is to tell the BrewPi what is actually plugged into what and what to assign it to in the graph. This is done by clicking on the maintenance panel in the upper right corner. And from there we'll want to click on device configurations. And nothing should show up at first until you click refresh device list. It'll send a quick message to the Arduino and come back with a full list of everything that's plugged into it. There may even be some extra things as there are ports that we can add other devices onto later. Today we are just going to be setting up the one-wire temperature probes. You will want to give it a unique device slot and then assign it to the chamber and beer like shown, and then assign it to one of the three functions of chamber temp, room temp, or beer temp. Always hit apply so that it will send the bit of code to the Arduino automatically for us. We will now fast forward setting up the other two as it is exactly the same except for apply it to the beer and room temp. And here you can see how we originally set up for our relays to turn on the heaters and coolers, but unfortunately they came in DOA, so we can't test to make sure that these settings actually worked for us this time. Every relay is a little different though and could use slightly different settings such as inverted. If your pins are turning on when they should be off, hit the pin type to inverted to non-inverted and that should fix your problem. Just remember to always hit apply, make sure that the settings stick, and always test that everything is set up and working properly before leaving it alone to operate. Click refresh device list one last time just to make sure that everything is set up properly and that the Arduino has all the information it needs. Right now the sleeping dragon is dormant, but to get it going, all you need to do is click on a fridge constant, or beer profile, and then click apply. It will restart the Arduino, but you can tell when it's come back online by the readout in the top left corner. This is where you can make sure you are in the right mode, check temperatures, and see what the relays are planning to do. Wait to cool, for example, means that it's going to wait 9 minutes and 20 seconds until it's ready to turn the fridge back on. This is to help protect the compressor. One downside is that the visible graph does not auto-update, at least not as far as I can tell right now. So you have to click refresh chart every time you want to see what it currently has for all the data points. But don't be fooled, it still is collecting data for this time, it's just not showing it to you all the time. And like any open source DIY project, it's not perfect, but it still works great. If you run into any graphical errors like this, just refresh the page and it should fix most of them. You can also try stretching it out a bit further to make sure everything fits. The last thing we're going to show you today is how to export this data. Start by going back into the maintenance panel, click previous beer, make sure you have the right beer selected. You can review it to make sure beforehand, then click download CSV, where this would work a lot better for us had we downloaded the version of Raspbian that had the recommended software. Otherwise, it would have opened up into an Excel-like program that we could have made charts with. But with a little movie magic, we'll jump into an install where we did it right. So instead of opening this file in a text editor, it's going to open it up into a spreadsheet. If you've never used a CSV file before, they can be a little intimidating at first, but the default settings are set to work just great, so hit OK. And remember, it's not a supercomputer, give it a moment. If you have a lot of data points, it may be best to export this to a more normal computer first, before editing it into a chart. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week. Check us out next time when we dig a little deeper, where we will be covering the sample starter that we used to create our maiden voyage with this wonderful piece of technology, along with going over any upgrades or modifications that we make to our own system.